In the past 74 days, I went from 69 to 964 subscribers at the time of recording. I made my first $1,200 online, and I found my soulmate. All because of YouTube. All YouTube. YouTube got me the subscribers, obviously. YouTube was the traffic source I used for my business, and I quite literally met the love of my life on YouTube. Like, yeah. Let me tell you a bit of my story. So, growing up, I actually posted my first YouTube video on February 24th, 2012. I was 8 years old at the time. And I was just absolutely in love with like showing my authentic self. I love to express, I love to create. I love to just do random shit. I mean, the first like 5 videos I have on YouTube were basically like me and my childhood best friend Samir, and we were like in my living room and we were just doing a bunch of dumb shit with my front camera on my laptop, the webcam, and it was just completely trash quality, of course, because this was 2012. But no one cared about that because it was two kids having fun, showing who they were to the world. And that's beautiful, man. Like expression. Expression is everything. But a few weeks into my YouTube career, I got a video that hit 15, 20K views. Popped the fuck off. And ever since that point, for about a year, I was posting videos and nothing was ever going as well. I had a few videos that had 1,000 views, 3, 5. I think my second highest view video on that channel is 9,000. And so yeah, I did some numbers, but I could never get back to that 5 digit. Could never hit it again. And that ate at me. That ate at my ego. And it was around this time, 9 to 10 years old, I really started harboring insecurities. I really started harboring inauthenticity. I was getting farther and farther away from relationships with my parents. Um, and more so, not that we were extremely, not that I've had very bad relationships with my parents or my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, who I will mention a lot in this video. Her name is Mama. Well, I call her Mama. um, it's not that I've had extreme like bad relationships with them or even like extremely unhealthy. You know what I mean? Like never anything that's like super toxic or extremely abusive. Never, never nothing like that. But especially the relationship with my grandmother, and my dad, I I was at a point, growing up around 5, 6, 7, where I felt like expressing my authenticity, expressing my femininity was going to get me in a place of shut down, don't do that again. Right? Sometimes I get told, stop those tears, or why are you sad, or, big boys don't cry, bullshit like that. And it was like, oh, okay, so I'm feeling this way and I can't feel this way. And when I show people that, they just make me feel bad about feeling this way. Okay, cool. So I just won't show nobody. And over time, I started getting farther and farther from my heart, and I started getting closer and closer in my head. And this is when the dark ages. This is when the dark ages started to come. I like to call 10 to 19 my dark ages. Because it was such a time of like pure like inauthenticity, just constant mask wearing, completely blocked throat chakra because I couldn't express my authentic self. I couldn't be my authentic self. I couldn't show my authentic self. And so I also couldn't create. I couldn't make YouTube videos. I couldn't draw. I couldn't dance because I was harboring all these insecurities. Oh, I can't dance. People are going to look at me and think I'm dumb. Oh, I can't draw. I'm not really that good. Oh, I can't make YouTube videos. I'm not going to get any views. All of this fucking attachment to externals. I was plagued. I was plagued with attachment to externals. I was plagued by being attached to outcomes. I was plagued by comparison. I was plagued by the ego. Ego is a powerful weapon, man. That motherfucker gets you. The thing is, like, your ego can be a great asset. Your ego's here to help you survive. It's here to help you thrive. If without an ego, you can't have a healthy self-worth. And so the ego is here to serve you. But most of our egos are in control of us. They're not serving us. We're serving them. And they're the ego's fucking illusion that we are separate from source, that we lack love, that we need to be attached to outcomes to feel a certain way, to feel whole, that we have control of everything in our lives. It's bullshit. All of these are just illusions of the ego. And eventually I started to understand this. In, I believe it was October last year, 2023. I got this book. Where is it actually? I got this book called The Artist's Way by, a brilliant woman named Julia Cameron. And this book completely unlocked me. Subtitle is A Spiritual Path to Higher Creativity. If you can't tell, I'm a very spiritual guy. And so The Artist's Way, reading the introduction, or actually I was listening to it rather. I was at the park one day. I was just sitting on the swing. And I was listening to the audiobook. And I had just this aha moment. And I don't remember exactly what Julia said, but it was something along the lines of this. It was the things that you love to do as a child, those things that fueled you, that gave you life, that you love to do, the things you love to express. If those things are no longer in your life, it shouldn't be like, it should make sense to why your life doesn't have as much joy, as much vibrancy, as much energy, as much radiancy. There's just not enough authenticity for your life to feel good. You're not being yourself. You're denying yourself. I was denying my drawing. I was denying my dancing. I was denying my love for nature. I was denying my femininity. I was. For a long time, I was. I was all the way in here instead of being in here. And the thing is, guys, like, I've always been a heart-centered person. I'm an empath. That's who I am. But how can you be an empath if you're in here and you're not in here? I was so lost for so long. From 10 to 19, I was just nose deep into escapism. I got exposed to porn at the age of 10. I've been playing video games since I was 5. I started smoking weed in high school when I was 16, 17. Binge eating. Like, I started binge eating a lot around 6th or 7th grade. You know? Content, social media is like women. I understand the vices. I understand the escapism. I get it. I've been there. But when I heard Julia say this, it was just a shift. And it was like, oh wow, I haven't been drawing, I haven't been dancing, I haven't been expressing, I haven't been tapped in. I just haven't been being myself. I've been denying myself. And because of that, I've been missing out on so much love, so much energy, so much radiance, so much joy, so much beauty of life. All because I was denying my inner beauty. Don't do that. Back in November, so about a month later, I found a YouTuber named Hamza. And he's a self-improvement YouTuber. And he's a very masculine guy. And he taught me a lot. And Hamza really got me tapped back into my masculinity. Because although I had a damaged relationship with my grandmother, I told you guys, my relationship with my dad, it wasn't that great either. And we had a lot of things that we had to work through. And like my parents aren't together. My parents were never together my whole life. I'm actually the product of their last hookup. And so I've never had both my parents in the same environment. I was always back and forth. Stability? What's that? And so like I didn't have my dad's masculine anchor a lot of the time. I didn't have his guidance. I didn't have his presence, and I needed that. And I used to live in New Jersey. I currently live in Georgia with my dad. And last year, after I went to college, and I did a year there, and I was like, yeah, this is fucking stupid. I hate school. I don't want to be here. I don't want to use this to learn anything. I want to do YouTube. I want to find myself. I didn't know what that meant, but I knew YouTube was going to be a part of it. I didn't know anything else besides I want to do YouTube and I want to not be depressed anymore. That's it. That's all I knew. And so I left New Jersey and I came back here. I came to Georgia with my dad because I say back here. Me and all my family are from New Jersey. We originally moved down here in 7th grade, or my 7th grade year, and I stayed a year and I left after 8th grade. Except my leaving was actually supposed to be me visiting Jersey for the summer, and then I didn't tell my dad until the day before my flight back to Georgia, which was a big part of why our relationship was so damaged. So, I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. And I felt like I needed to come down here. I needed to come back here because there was wilderness that needed exploring, but I needed an anchor to hold me down. I needed some way to come back. I needed some kind of safety. You know what I mean? And I didn't feel that in Jersey. I just didn't feel that. I didn't feel like I could be my authentic self. I mainly lived with my grandparents back in Jersey, and they didn't really understand this YouTube or this business thing. And now, now that I'm actually doing it, they get it more, but they didn't get that before. They were like, oh, Jaden, go to college. Oh, you don't want to go to college? All right, get a job. It's like, I don't want to do either of those things. I mean, school is stupid and I'm not working for the corporate man. I don't think education is stupid. I love education. I'm all about education. Compound your consciousness. I'm not about the school system. It's trash. I want to rebuild the school system in like 20, 30 years. It's a goal of mine. But I felt like I had to come here because my grandparents, they just wouldn't get it. They just wouldn't get it. And so I came. And, in November when I was talking about Hamza, I just learned so much from him. And I learned how, I needed to tap back into my masculinity. And I don't have it. I was going to talk about the way of the superior man, but I gave it to my bride to be. We actually traded books. This is, she gave me this. It's called Lady Balls. How to Become Savagely Successful in a World Addicted to Suffering by the fucking GOAT. Mina is the GOAT. If you want to watch her stuff on YouTube, it's the Universe Guru. It's very big on spirituality, a feminine approach to business, feeling good doing business. I really like it because, like, I have my purposeful productivity philosophy, which is basically you will work harder, you will work more, you will produce better work for something you love, something you enjoy, something that's impacting people that means something to you. And so if you're not in the business of feeling good about the business you're playing yourself. You're in the wrong business. Business is hard enough. Why would you want to be in a business that you don't care about? Why would you want to do work that you don't want to do? That shit don't make sense to me. You will do more work if you want to do it. So just do something you want to do. Now, of course, you need to have some kind of masculine frame and structure. You can't always just be completely in flow doing whatever you feel like. Sometimes you got to get over yourself. But feeling good about what you do, that is everything. That's why I make daily videos. I love them. I don't have discipline. This shit is fun. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I show up. I was coping a bit before I started to record. But like the art of showing up, just sitting down in the chair, if you use your masculinity to just get over yourself and just show up, then you can be in flow and you can feel good about it. But yeah, I started learning a lot from Hamza in November, and he really started to make me realize how my friends going up, I didn't associate with them anymore. I didn't want to be on the level they were in. They were still smoking weed all the time, playing video games, chasing, getting there, trying to get their dick wet. I wasn't about none of that shit. I realized, all right, casual sex is stupid. I don't want to do that shit no more. I'm trying to make money. I don't want to be sitting here smoking weed all the time. I don't want to, have fried dopamine because I want to work hard. You know what I mean? And my friends weren't on that timing. I mean, at the same time, I was the only one down. Well, I have one of my friends going up down here as well, but I was the only one down here for in my area for real. I was like, I got to make this shit happen solo. And I felt very alienated for a long time because it's like, well, shit, I don't resonate with my friends for real, but I didn't really resonate with anyone else. I was in this very weird in-between period. And a month later, I found Hamza's content early November. And then I joined his school program, Adonis School, in early December. So school, if you don't know, is basically like a platform where you can host a community. It's kind of like a forum page, like a Reddit forum, but it's also very good for business in terms of you can have classroom section. There's a classroom section where you can host courses. There's a calendar to host calls and events. School's got your sales page. It's got your payment processing. I'm in love with school. If you're interested, if you want to work with me one-to-one, make $1,000 online as a coach. Actually, that's not my one-to-one. I'm a liar. I'm sorry. If you want to work with me one-to-one, that's the second link description. But if you want to check out my school, which is my one-to-many offer, that's the third link in the description. All right. So I'm in love with school, and I fell in love with school because I joined Adonis School, and I immediately felt the impact of community. I immediately felt the opening of like my awareness. I felt more accountability. I felt like that social pressure because I was actually around people who were doing what I wanted to do. I was around like-minded people, and the power of being around like-minded people is so immense, guys. So let me just do another real quick CTA. If you're a spiritual entrepreneur or a spiritual entrepreneur and you want to start getting into business, come join my free school community. That's the first link in the description. All right, I want to see you there. If you want to contact me, I don't have comments on my YouTube videos anymore because fuck that. We're actually gonna talk about that later. But if you want to contact me, school is the only way to do that if you're not working with me one-to-one. So I found school, right? I joined Adonis School in early December, and when I joined Adonis School, it was on December 2nd. And on that day, I decided that I was like, nah, I don't want to do what I'm doing anymore. I was still fapping all the time. I was still smoking weed all the time. I wasn't making YouTube videos. I wasn't pursuing business. I wasn't doing shit. I wanted to do. I was like, fuck this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be like this no more. And so on December 7th, I uploaded my first YouTube video for my first daily YouTube stint. So I've had 4 stints of daily uploads. One was in December, one was late January, one was in April, and now we got the one we're going strong. 2.5 months in, baby. That first daily stint of videos taught me so much about myself, taught me about my speaking skills and how I needed to embrace the silence. So I used less filler words like and you know what I mean? And you feel me? I used to say so many filler words. Constantly like speaking, constantly watching back on my videos and like having intention, those things helped me overcome that. At the same time, I realized that in December, I was giving off this like too masculine, too aggressive, too abrasive tone, right? And although I'm a masculine guy, right? But at the same time, I'm a more balanced guy. If there's like a ratio of like masculine to feminine energy, mine is probably like 60-40%. You know what I mean? I'm a balanced guy. I'm an empath. I live out the heart, but I do have a masculine frame. But I realized that I was way too in my masculine in December, and that just wasn't authentic. And it was reflecting because I didn't really feel good about the kind of content I was creating. I didn't really feel good about what I was doing. I was so misaligned with my authenticity, and so my content wasn't aligned. At the same time, I was starting to try to get into business, but I didn't really feel like I actually had something of value to provide to people. Business is all about solving problems. It's all about alleviating pain. It's all about bringing value by bringing awareness, by bringing knowledge, like information, like bringing awareness of problems, bringing awareness of solutions, telling people how to go from problem to solution. That's valuable, right? And so I didn't really feel like I'd actually made enough progress. I'd actually overcome a struggle. I'd actually gotten to the point where I felt like I could actually help somebody in terms of business. And so I had no conviction in myself. I didn't have belief. Because I didn't have that conviction, I couldn't get sales. If you don't believe in yourself, how can someone else believe in you? I wasn't being authentic. And so I was giving off this energy of like, this guy isn't even him. This guy's trying too hard. And I didn't really realize that until the end of December. And funnily enough, my birthday, actually, December 30th, I relapsed on porn. And it was because I'd never, man, let me tell you, actually, this is pretty funny. So recently, I've been getting like cramps in my testicles, in my balls. And it's because of like sperm buildup. And I was like, the other day when it first happened, I was like, yo, what the fuck? Is this because I haven't been abstinent for this long in like over a decade? And it's like, oh shit, that actually makes sense. But back in December, I was getting this buildup of energy and I couldn't control it. I didn't have any awareness. I wasn't tapped into my breath like I am now. I wasn't tapped into my energy. I didn't know how to circulate that energy throughout my body to transmute, to alchemize it. So, I had to release, and that got me down, but it also got me to a point of realizing that where I was and what I was doing wasn't actually aligned. Like that slump I got in because of my relapse from like the 30th to the 1st. I believe I stopped uploading daily videos in January 2nd or 3rd. Around then I realized, yeah, I'm just not being myself. Like that like lethargic period I was in because I just busted, it actually gave me time to like sit and realize that what I was doing wasn't actually aligned, right? Um and I was kind of lost then because I was like, well shit, what the fuck do I want to do? And it was at this point where I was like, okay, I think I actually really want to start like my own school community, right? I think I really want to help and bring other people together. And like still like I knew about coaching, and that was what I wanted to do in December. That was like the business I was trying to pursue. But I didn't have conviction in myself and any skills, right? And so I was like, oh yeah, maybe I could be like a productivity coach, or I could do like mindset, or I could help people with mental health, or I could help people with NoFap, even though I was only 2 weeks in. You know what I mean? And so it was like I didn't actually believe in myself, and so I didn't have conviction. And since I didn't have that conviction, I couldn't actually like make something that I believed in that could be sellable. And so I basically spent January through March. Like actually I told you guys I got sober in December, but the last week of January, I started smoking again. And let me tell you, that last week of January, I think it was like the last 3 days actually, like one of the like the last few days of January, I started smoking again. That those few days, all of February and like the first 2 weeks of March, I was just like completely in a haze. I'd like wake up, I'd get high, I'd fap, I'd go to work, I'd come back home, I'd binge content, I'd get high, I'd fap. I was like, that was literally my life. And I was literally doing that like for like 5 weeks straight. And I woke up halfway through March, right? It's like March 13th, 14th, something like that. I'm like, hold up. 2.5 of my months of the year are gone. Gone. And it was like, what the fuck? The thing is, guys, like I had this goal of hitting 20K revenue by December. And I say I had because now my goal is to hit 200K by December. We'll talk about that later. But I had this goal of hitting 20K revenue by December, and it was like I had complete conviction that I could accomplish that goal in 6 months, but I had a whole year, right? And so it's like if it's only going to take me 6 months to hit my goal, then when would I have to start? In June, right? And so I had so much time to fuck around. That is like a very key lesson that we're going to hit on later, but you need creative constraints. You need deadlines. You need to be able to give yourself like this is when this will be done, because if you don't have that, you're completely in flow. And being in flow is awesome, but not having like this certain target that you want to hit, that can be very dangerous. I actually like I didn't actually start making progress until May. Why? Because I only had 6.5 months left. We're gonna get back to that later. So halfway through March, this is actually like when I'm like getting out of this like haze. Now I was still like smoking and fapping, I was still doing it. But I was like, I wasn't just completely in like, I don't give a fuck anymore. I was like, that's not how I was, but I wasn't taking action. I was more so just, I was in my consumption era again. I was back to being a full-time consumer, and I wasn't creating. I believe the second or third week of March, right? So I can no longer afford Adonis School at this time. So my initial investment in Adonis School was $500 for December, and then I was on a 99 per month after that. So it was like a total of $700 investment. December 5, and then January and February I paid 1, and in March I didn't have the money. I didn't have the money, and I realized it was like, okay, I could try to like find this money. I could like borrow it, whatever, and I could stay in Adonis School, right? But that didn't feel right for me because one, Adonis School, like the culture was starting to shift a bit. It was starting to be less business focused, and Hamza like kind of fucked up and started to try to like make it a dating program. And it got like pretty degenerate, and I was like, yeah, I don't like this. Um, Now he's recently he's gone all in on business now in the past couple months. I've actually rejoined Adonis School, but funnily enough, I actually when I was when my payments weren't going through, Hamza's brother Danish, who's the manager of Adonis School, he'd reached out to me and I told him about my situation. He was like, "Hey, Jaden, well, we're down to let you come back in at your $99 per month." The thing is, when I joined Adonis School, the school platform itself didn't have integrated payments yet, and so I paid Hamza through PayPal. But now he was getting integrated payments through school, and so instead of paying $500 up front, $99 a month after that, the payment was $129 every single month. And so Danish had offered me, he was like, "Hey, Jaden, you can come in, for your $99 a month instead of the $129. And I was just like, pass. Because I wanted the pain to hurt. I wanted that shit to hurt. I loved Adonis School. And although I started to shift and I didn't feel like I resonated anymore, I learned so much from Hamza. I learned so much from that community. I learned so much about the importance of community from Adonis School. And I was like, if I'm going to join Adonis School, it's going to be because that $30 doesn't fucking matter. It's going to be because I made money in business doing what the fuck Hamza taught me to do. And so I passed. I was like, I appreciate the offer, Danish, but I'm actually going to pass on that one. Because I wanted the dissatisfaction. I wanted the pain. Because the pain is the only way you're going to actually make the progress. You're not going to get anywhere staying in your little ass box of comfort. Shit ain't going to happen. If you're in this little box of comfort, your consciousness is limited. And so you can't make progress. You're stagnant. But once you start exploring the unknown and you start expanding, you start reaching out, you can start finding new things. You can start building. You can start evolving. Albert Einstein said this. He said, the level of consciousness that created the problem cannot be the same. No. You cannot solve a problem with the same level of consciousness that created it. There we go. And so if you're trapped in a little box of comfort and you're like, oh, how do I get out? Oh my gosh. Stop being fucking comfortable. I was being comfortable. I was just sitting here learning in Adonis School all the time. I was binging content thinking I was being productive when I should have been putting fucking work in. I was sitting here smoking and fapping my life away. Pure comfort. Where the fuck was the pain? Where was the progress? Nowhere in sight. And so if you want to grow, if you want to evolve, if you want to start finding problems, you need to expand your consciousness. You need to get out of this box. How do you do that? Education, introspection, asking God. Because the thing is, if your limited consciousness isn't enough, if it isn't good enough to solve the problem, to find the solution, why would you not just tap into the infinite consciousness that God provides? God knows all the solutions. Just fucking ask. You know what I'm saying? It's like, in April, this is when I realized. In April, I realized that I was trying to do this shit alone. I was like, oh shit, this is why it's been so hard for me. I haven't been tapped into God. I've been trying to put all this fucking weight on my little ass shoulders. No, don't do that. Use God's strength. Rely on His strength. Rely on His love, on His wisdom. You are never lacking love because God loves you. If you want wisdom, ask. The thing is, the only limitations we have are the ones we put on ourselves. Your limited beliefs are the greatest thing holding you back. The thing is, you can learn skills with repetition, with intention, with time. Learning skills is fucking easy. Getting yourself to learn skills is hard if you don't believe that you can. If you don't believe that you're worthy. If you don't believe that you're good enough. And so this diluting of the ego and embracing our true nature, our connection to source, our oneness, our divinity, tapping into our spirituality rather than being so tapped into the physical, this is how we start shifting. This is how we start changing. This is how we start receiving more abundance. I realized that I was trying to do this shit alone in April. And I was still trying to find myself, because the thing is, like, at that time I was a Christian. I grew up Christian, fundamentalist Christianity, which is religion. And I didn't really get down with the hypocrisy of Christianity a lot of the time. There are so many hypocrites, right? There's so many people that claim that, Jesus is their guy, and yet they're still over here judging other people. Let me tell you this. I love Jesus. And I consider myself a Christian mystic. Mystical Christianity is doing what Jesus did. It's following Jesus' teachings. It's searching for the divine within. It's being tapped in. Jesus said, I am the Father are one. The thing is, like, you and the Father are one as well. We are all tapped into God. We all have divinity within us. But if religion is your vehicle for spirituality, it's very hard to get to the point where, like, you usually hit a roof. And this is how I felt in April. This is how I felt, halfway through April, early May. I felt like I hit this roof of my spirituality. I knew I needed to keep ascending. But the vehicle I was currently in, Christianity, didn't align. It was a constant external reach, trying to search God, like, without, trying to search the external to find the divine. And the thing is, if you're constantly looking for something, you're not going to find what's already there. If you're constantly searching, you can't see what you already have, because you're constantly creating distance. And when I found mystical Christianity, through the teachings, I found a podcast. Well, I was already watching a podcast called the Know Thyself podcast, which is my favorite podcast on spirituality. But I came across this video with a man named Aaron Apke, and he just completely opened my eyes to Christian mysticism and how we are all one. We are all tapped into God. We are all the creator. We all have abundance of life. We all have abundance of power, of wisdom. And it is merely our ability to see and tap into that allows us to express that. We tend to believe that we need to see in order to believe. That, because I'm looking at these pants, I can believe they're real. But that's a limitation. Because the real way to get clarity is by believing first. Because if you need to see something in order to believe it, you're in a box. But if you start believing first, your consciousness expands, and then you can start perceiving everything in that. When you start opening yourself more to spirituality, when you start embracing the divine more, you start seeing the patterns, you start seeing the synchronicities all over the place. And so in April, I realized this, and I started, like, shifting farther and farther from fundamentalist Christianity, and I started shifting closer and closer to Christian mysticism. And I'm not here to, like, shit on religion or shit on Christianity. I'm not here to do that, right? Because I look at Christianity as a vehicle, as a stepping stone. I wouldn't be where I'm at without it. Like, I can only look back and be grateful because it got me to where I'm at, which is completely abundant. And so I needed that. I needed fundamentalist Christianity. I needed to feel like I couldn't resonate with that, so I could find what I did resonate with. And that's beautiful. And looking back on fundamentalist Christianity with judgment or, with disgust, that's a betrayal. That's a betrayal. Like, if fundamentalism is my cocoon and now I'm a butterfly because I'm in mysticism, looking back on the cocoon and being disgusted is a betrayal of what it did for me. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm not here to shit on fundamentalists. If you're a fundamentalist, that's awesome. If you're religious, that's awesome. Do what works for you, right? But it didn't work for me, and so I stepped away from it. And ever since I did that, I've been flowing even more because I've been more tapped in. I've been more tapped into source. I've been more tapped into my intuition. So around, in this period of halfway through April, early May, I wasn't doing coaching because I didn't have a YouTube audience and I didn't feel like I had something of value to provide to people. And so I was doing videography, and I was doing it with an entrepreneur named Joe. And he's a hard money lender. He's a real estate investor. Super awesome guy. Joe's the best. But I realized about 2 weeks into working with Joe, I was like, oh, shooting video is actually whack as fuck. Like, I love filmmaking. I love the art of video, but like the business of it, the like mechanical, just like shooting business events, wow, that shit was whack. So I was like, yeah, I don't think so. And at this time I was dabbling more in filmmaking because I thought that was something I wanted to like go all in on. But I wasn't making content. I wasn't really creating as much as I wanted to. I was doing films, I was doing some filmmaking, and I was doing stuff for Joe, but I wasn't really doing stuff that I wanted to do completely. Like, I wasn't coming on camera and making talking head videos that share my stories and share my lessons. This is what I love to do. Like, growing up, like, I knew I loved teaching at 5 years old when I was helping all my friends in school with math problems. I was always the best at math. I was like, I don't get this. But I was like, nah, it's like boom, boom, boom. I'm gonna break it down to you. And then they'd always get it after. And that was like the best thing ever to me. It's like, I can just take what's in here, break it down to you in a way you can get it, and now I just change your life. That's fucking sick. Right? Like, I'm a coach, right? But I like to say I'm a coach because teachers don't get paid enough, and because I didn't want to go to school to be a therapist. And now I also just get to make a fuck ton of money too. That's pretty cool. And so, like, I was doing video, but it wasn't aligned. It wasn't authentic. It wasn't me. But around this time, I started to create more consistently. I started trying to tap in more. I was doing more art. I was doing more journaling. And on May 15th, I uploaded a video called "We Are All Artists." And for the past couple of weeks, I've been getting some support on the like occasional videos I was dropping. I was dropping like some like mini like films and stuff like that. And I had this like recent sub who was like super loyal, super loyal for the past couple of weeks. And he'd typed out the super long message about like how he resonated with the video and the message. But at the end, he's like, yo, Jaden, like, you have value to provide. You need to be making more videos. And that was that was the confirmation I needed, because I knew that I wanted to start making daily videos again. I knew I wanted to start creating it consistently again. But I didn't believe in myself. And so I hit him back and I was like, hey, bro, I know I have value to share. I know I have, this message I want to show, to the world, and that people will probably find value from what I have to say. But I was just still in my head. And I asked him, like, hey, bro, can we hop on a call and talk? Let's chop it up. Because he seemed like a really cool guy. He's like the stuff that, we've been talking about the past couple of weeks in the comments. I'm like, oh yeah, this guy's very intelligent. I'd love to just have a conversation with him. See if he could break any of my limiting beliefs. And he said to me, if you need an external push, you're losing yourself to self-doubt. Start today. And I was like, yeah, spin. Spin. And that man was Mr. Jake Bowden, who is I have a podcast with. He's one of my closest friends now. And since that day, May 15th, haven't stopped uploading YouTube videos every fucking day. For the past like week and a half, I've been uploading 2 videos a day. And so on May 15th, I was at 69 subscribers. And I think it was like the 4th video I posted, like in that daily stint, 800 views. That video was called 15 minutes a day is enough time. And the next week, another video, 1,000 views. Your creativity is being blocked at the source. This was the video that changed my entire trajectory. This video popping off gave me the assurance that I could actually show people that their blocks are actually getting in their way, and I could show people how I overcame mine. I like to talk about physical, mental, and spiritual blocks. Physical blocks are like base level friction. It could be like fatigue in your hand because you've been writing so long. hunger, dehydration. You know what I mean? Like things like this is like these could get in your way and stop you, but it's like realistically, it's not that hard. Like just get over it, right? Then there's like mental blocks, which are more like anxiety or fear, or like poor focus due to like dopamine or something like that. You know what I mean? It's these things that are mental and actually do like you get more friction. It's fairly hard to overcome physical blocks because you just show up and do the work. But overcoming mental blocks, it can be kind of difficult. I actually really like telling this example. So I have a show I'm absolutely in love with called Jane the Virgin, and the protagonist Jane, she's a writer, and one of in one of the episodes, she felt blocked, and she had asked her mentor about it, and her mentor said this: the block is often further back than we believe. And the block for Jane was some anxiety, some like anger that she was holding on to in her relationship with her boyfriend. And because she was holding on to that, she was being blocked. But when she let it out, flow, baby. And that's how it is. And so we have these physical blocks, these mental blocks, but we have the biggest ones, which are the spiritual blocks. And these are attacks at your core. These are like, this is I like to summarize a spiritual block like this. Creation is an expression of the self. Okay, cool. So it's an expression of your authenticity. Cool. A spiritual block is an attack at your authenticity. And so if you aren't authentic, you can't express authentically, which means you can't create. That is the biggest block you'll have. Not being able to be yourself. Not feeling like you can express correctly. That is the biggest block you'll have. It was the biggest block I had, at least. And so if you want to overcome your spiritual blocks, because mental and physical blocks, these things come up, but we can overcome them very easily. Like we can overcome them with willpower. We can overcome these things. But spiritual blocks, willpower ain't gonna do shit for you. The only thing that you can do is heal. And that takes constant education to find out what you even feel hurt by. Where is the damage even at? That takes constant introspection to understand what this damage has done to you, how it's currently affected you, how it affected you in your past. But the biggest thing is it takes forgiveness. During that first week of May, or the first week of daily uploads, within, I don't know if it was the first week, but before June started, I decided that I wanted to let go of the anchors that were keeping me held back. I like to say that internal anchors keep us from abundance. And I had healed my relationship with my dad, and we talked so much, and we had gotten to that point where our relationship was healthy again. And I had things that I dealt with my mom as well. My mom is an amazing woman, but she has multiple sclerosis, which is a neurodegenerative disorder. And so a lot of my time, I feel like I had to sacrifice my own life, my own energy for her. And that was hard. It was really hard. But I got through that. I talked to her about that. And it was healing for both of us. But there was one more. Mama. The root. The reason I felt like I couldn't express authentically. The reason my femininity was blocked. The reason my throat chakra was blocked and I told so many lies in my life. This anchor was still holding me down. And I told myself for years, I wouldn't talk to her. I've been on my mental health journey for 5 years, guys, since I was 14. Or 6 years. No, I was 15. Yeah, 5 years. But the thing is, like, I knew how much my relationship with my grandmother was holding me back. I've known that for 4 years. And for 4 years, I was telling myself, oh, I'm not going to tell her. Oh, I'm just going to keep holding back. Oh, what's the point? Because I understood. Oh, yeah, trust me, I understood. My grandmother's mother, like Mama's mom. Like, my grandmother isn't necessarily cold, but emotionally she's distant. Now, her mother is actually cold. And so I got it. I understood why. But just because you understand doesn't mean you're over it. It doesn't mean that thing isn't still holding you down. And so I called her up one day and I was like, Mama, this is how what you did made me feel. This is how your attacks at my authenticity have been keeping me back. And I just don't want to feel like this anymore. I understand why you've done it. I understand why it happened. And I forgive you. And the thing is, like, I forgave her in my heart a lot. I forgave her in front of God. And I was still held back. Because I needed to forgive her to her. Don't forgive for them. Forgive for you. If Jesus can forgive his killers while they're pinning him to the cross, forgive them, Father, they know not what they do, then you have the ability to forgive somebody and to alchemize that pain and turn it into purpose. The only limitations we have are the ones we set on ourselves. And so if you want to start changing your world, if you want to start changing the world, you need to start changing your perception. You need to start changing how you see the world. You need to take these limitations off. When you embrace forgiveness, you turn into an alchemist. You turn your wounds into your gifts. You turn your pain into purpose. You turn your lead into gold. That is alchemy. That is beautiful. And we all have the ability to do this. All through the ability of shifting perception. There's 3 ways of coping. Emotional coping, escapism. Action-oriented coping, doing things in the external world to create external results. And then there's cognitive reframing, which is shifting your internal view, shifting your perception, changing the narrative. I didn't go through that block of inauthenticity because I didn't deserve love, because I wasn't worthy, because I was a piece of trash. I told myself for that a long time, but that wasn't the reason. I had to go through that so I could be right here telling you this story. So I could be right here, right now with 7 coaching clients who rely on me for breaking their limiting beliefs. Like, I wouldn't be here right now if I didn't have those wounds. I wouldn't have my gifts without those wounds. I wouldn't have my purpose without that pain. I wouldn't have the gold without the lead. You need both, guys. And when you start seeing that the pain is the progress, that the suffering leads to joy, everything shifts. Everything shifts. And I finally shifted, like the last week of May. And I was like, oh, I'm free. You know what I mean? I was like, oh. And so I was like, okay, I know what I can do. I can help spiritual creators unblock their creativity and start creating consistently. At that point, I'd have been making YouTube videos for 2 weeks. And I was like, I can't even stop this. It's like, even if I wanted to stop, I couldn't. I have to make videos every day or I just get sad. I literally get depressed when I don't create stuff. That's how it is. So I don't not create stuff anymore. And I actually had this friend of mine from high school, and we got back in touch over the past year. And I was helping her a lot with her trauma, her mental health, her blocks, her spiritual blocks, right? The attacks at her authenticity because of the relationships with her parents. And I helped her unblock these things. I helped her start seeing more clearly. And she started to create more. She started drawing again. She started writing and telling stories again. She even bought a camera so she could start making videos again. And that gave me conviction. Because, yeah, I did it for myself. That was awesome. But I did it for someone else. And I knew it. And that was how I wholeheartedly knew I can help my people with this pain. And so on June 1st, I launched my offer, which is my 4th school community. Like I told you guys, I didn't really know what I was doing before then. right? It was my fourth attempt, because before I wasn't aligned, but now I was. Now I knew I was authentic. I had the value. And I was like, bet. I know my people. I know the pain. I know the transformation. Let's fucking do it. So on June 1st, I created my product, my digital renaissance creators community. And yeah, that was June 1st. And I made like an MVP, which is basically just a minimum viable product. So I made like my sales page for my school. And it was basically just like a Canva presentation with a video sales letter. And that basically consisted of me hitting on like the audience's pain points, me hitting on like my own story and telling how I relate to their struggles, telling them how I overcame those struggles, and then giving them like a roadmap for how we would like help them, and then talking about the package features after. So I made my VSL, I had my copywriting, all that shit was trash because I was a beginner entrepreneur. But the thing is, guys, like, you can never get good if you don't start bad. You can never get to level 10 if you don't start at level 0. And so trying to make something good while you don't have the skills is fucking stupid. Get over yourself. Like, please get over yourself. Just start. It will be bad. That's okay. Because you can't make stuff that's good if you don't start out by making stuff that's bad. You need skills, you need repetitions, you need time, you need intention. That shit is not going to happen like this. It's not. It's not. If you think I could just talk this naturally, actually, I'm a pretty like natural and charismatic speaker. Like I told you guys, back in December, all these filler words, and I would like stutter sometimes more often. You want to know how many YouTube videos I've made in my lifetime? 400. Over. I got a fuck ton of reps in this. So yeah, I'm a good speaker. I'm comfortable on camera. This shit takes time, guys. It takes reps. It takes intention. You can't expect yourself to be good right away. It's unrealistic. Drop the fucking ego. Seriously. And so I made my offer on June 1st, right? And I had it in my description. And I was CTAing it every fucking video, every day. If you're not CTAing every video, but you're trying to make money in business, you're playing yourself. Your CTA is your marketing. And your marketing is like a nudge. It's a nudge closer and closer to the product. The thing is, we don't really buy something the first time we hear about it, right? You usually see it, and then you see your friend got it, and then you see it on social media. Now your mom's got it, and it's like, oh shit, I need it now, right? Like FOMO's a bitch. But that's because like constant marketing, constantly getting these stimuli, that's usually what makes us take action. And so every day from June 1st to June 12th, I was just opening the school app, right? Going to the members tab to see if I got any sales, and then closing it, because I wasn't. And I was doing that every fucking day. But on June 12th, on June 10th, actually, which is actually my little brother Kanye's birthday too. But on June 10th, I got in a comment on my video. Well, I don't remember what video it was, but it said, "Drop Cash App in description, question mark." And it was from a very loyal and loving subscriber from the past few weeks who had said like she really resonated with my content. She felt like I was really calling to her, like the stuff I was making was helping her a lot. And so I was like, yo, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I could play this two ways. I can either just drop the Cash App in the description, say appreciate you for the support, or I can be a salesman. Now I'm an entrepreneur, so I chose the latter. And so, I wasn't like trying to be like it wasn't like a real, like a crazy pitch or anything, but I just responded. I was like, hey, I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support, but I don't really feel good as an entrepreneur just taking money for free. Like, that's genuinely how it is. As I feel like if I'm not giving you something, why are you giving me something? That doesn't make sense. I can't really receive without giving first. And that was partly because I wasn't embracing my feminine as much as I should have. But we'll talk about that more. I hit her up and I was like, hey, I want you to check this out. I feel like it could help us. And, if you want to support me, I want to support you as well. Like, let's trade value here. So I want you to check this out. If you don't like it, cool. Can you just let me know why so I can improve my product? And that was it. And I'm not gonna lie, I got scared because she didn't reply. She liked the comment. She was like, wait, huh? right? So I was like, oh fuck, did I just fold? Did I just like lose out on a sub because I'm sitting here trying to make money and shit? I was like, damn, it's fucked up. And so 2 days later, on June 12th, I go to my school app. I'm mechanically checking because for the past 10 days or 11 days, I hadn't been getting sales. So I was just like, yep, routine check. Just gonna open it up, see the members, close app. I open up school. I go to the members. The fuck? Scum! I just made money online. That's how it was. And it was for $17. I got $16.21 after school took their cut. And that's how I got my first 3 sales. I got my first one on June 12th. I got my second one on June 14th. I got my third on June 19th. My first sale was at 187 subscribers. My second sale was at 222 subscribers. My third sale was at 300 subscribers. When I seen that, when I got my third sale for 300 subs, I was like, I'm doing something here. Because the thing is, in Adonis school, I learned that you can likely convert if you're getting if you're averaging 50 to 100 views, you can convert on 1% of your audience. That was I genuine conviction in that because I'd seen other guys doing it. And I literally had the case study. First sale, 187. Second sale, 222. Third sale, 300. I'm like, I think I got something here. And for a few days, I started making more content. I started talking about business and I made some business content. I've been in love with business since I was 5 years old. I've wanted a business for that long, right? And I've been heavily learning about business for a year at this point. But I felt like I couldn't actually talk about business on my channel because it was I haven't done shit. But as soon as I did start getting sales, I was like, yo, I can talk about business now. And I started talking about business and I was like, yo, I fucking love this. I love this. I love business. Right? I see YouTube and business as the ultimate vehicles for fun, for fulfillment, and for freedom. And so I was like, yo, I want to help other people do business through YouTube. That's what I want to do. That's a skill that I learned. And so I want to help other people do it. And I was in my head a bit at the time. But I was like, come on, Jaden. You already know that you're only one step ahead, and that's all you need to be. Let me break this down to you. So imagine let's say you're playing this video game, right? And you're trying to kill this boss for 2 weeks. And for 2 weeks, you're just falling flat on your face. The boss is kicking your ass. But eventually you conquer. Right? Lit, awesome, hurrah. And you pass level 2, right? Now you're on level 3. Lydiana. Now, you have a friend. You go over to this friend's house, and they'll be going through it. For a week, they've been struggling too. And you're like, damn, bro, I feel you. I was just going through this shit for 2 weeks, dog. And you're like, wait, I just beat this level 2. I can literally tell you how to do it. And so you show your friend how to beat the level 2 boss because you did that. And instead of them going through it for another week like you did, it took you 2 weeks. It only took them 1. Value. Guys, you don't have to be on level 10 to show people how to get past level 2. You just need to get past level 2 yourself. If you're at level 2 or level 3, whatever, and someone is at level 1, level 2, whatever, if you're just one step ahead, that is extremely, extremely valuable. Let me actually tell you this real quick. So my little brother Kanye, I mentioned, right? He's only a year and a half younger than me. So I'm 20 at the moment. He's 19. And growing up, Ye used to look up to me a lot. And I didn't really understand why. Because it's I'm only a year older than you. I look up to my older siblings. My sister and my older brother, they're both 5 years older than me. My sister is my full sister. And then there's my stepbrother Malik. Then it's me, and then I have my 2 younger half brothers, right? And so I look up to my siblings a lot. And it made sense because they're 5 years older than me. But I didn't really get why Ye looked up to me that much. Mari, that's my littlest brother. He's 16 at the moment. Mari looking up to me, that made sense. But it was I don't get this one. Ye. But when I heard this one step behind mindset, I was like, oh. Imagine this, right? When you were in 4th grade, who did you look up to the most? Was it the 7th graders? Was it the 10th or the 12th graders? I don't think so. You probably didn't care about them that much. No. You wanted to be the fifth graders. Why? It was so far and yet so close. There's actually a lot of value in not being 5 million steps ahead of somebody and just being one step ahead. You're closer to the pain, you're closer to the problem, you're more relatable. And the person you're trying to help feels like it's more achievable because you're close to them. And so if you have this mindset of, oh, I can't help anybody, oh, I've only, made some progress, I haven't actually done that, I'm not on level 10 yet, I'm still on level 3. Bro, if you're on level 3, you can help people that are on level 0, 1, and 2 get to level 3. And so I had to break this limiting belief of like, I just got into business. It's like, no, Jaden, you did something here. You converted on 1% of your audience. Like, you have skills that you can show other people how to use. Like, you can do this. I'm only one step ahead. And so I pivoted. I completely changed my offer. And I went from helping spiritual creators unblock their creativity and creating consistently to helping spiritual creators make money as a coach through YouTube. Because that's what I did. And so I pivoted my offer. And in the first 2 weeks of June, so that was I pivoted my offer at the end of June. So on the last day of June, I actually pivoted my offer and I launched a free school community called Small YouTuber Monetization, because I knew I was going to pivot my offer. And I was like, okay, I can start this. I can funnel people from my YouTube to my free school community, and I can get people in there. I can start doing market research, start hitting on pain points. I can start doing lead nurture so they want to like work with me. Say no more. That sounds lit. So I started doing that. I started offering free coaching calls as well, because I wanted to understand my clients. I wanted to understand my avatar. And doing that was extremely valuable because I learned my avatar's two biggest constraints. The two biggest constraints for most people that are like small YouTubers and trying to get into business: you have no clue how to make a product. Fair enough. Making a product isn't easy. You have no clue how to package correctly, and so your videos don't get views. Fair enough. The skill of capturing attention isn't that easy. And so if you have no product, you can't even make money. In business, there's product, there's traffic, the thing you sell, and the way people know about this thing so they can come buy it. And so if you don't have a product, then you can't make any money. But if your packaging is constrained, like, the thing is, you can only convert views into sales if you convert an impression into a view first. And so if someone sees your title and thumbnail and they don't click on it, how the fuck are they going to get the view? How are they going to get the value from the video? How are they going to hear your CTA so they can work with you? They can't. So packaging is the top of the funnel, and that's likely your biggest constraint because you just need more traffic. You need more eyes. And so I realized this, right? And it was very valuable, very valuable lessons. And in literally the first not the first 9 days, but July 4th, I'd gotten my 4th client. So by that point, I'd lost my 3rd client. We just didn't really align that well. I mean, he only invested $17. Where was the investment, right? So that's another lesson. Charge high prices, right? So I got like my 3rd/4th, whatever, 3rd client, who's actually we're gonna talk about her later. So I signed Aaron on July 4th, and then on July 13th, I'd gotten my 5th sale in 2 weeks. So I'd gotten one on July 4th. That was Aaron. I got a sale with a manifestation coach named Ali. That was July 6th. On July 7th, I got a sale with my boy Tristan. He's a salesman. He wants to help technical founders with sales skills. That was July 7th. 3 days later, I signed Shwana, which was July 10th. And that was actually because of the free value. In Small YouTuber Monetization, Shwana had hopped on a call with me. I did like a Q&A in there on a Sunday, and we talked for like 40 minutes in there. And then she hopped on a free coaching call with me. And on that call, she was talking about being interested in my product and my offer. The next day, she bought. That was July 10th. And on July 13th, I signed my 5th client, Lala. And that was how I got past my threshold and made my my first $1,000. So I made $1,000 in the first 2 weeks of July. And it was kind of mind-boggling because my goal was $500 revenue total. I was like, I just doubled my goal in the first 2 weeks. That's pretty fucking crazy. And at this point, I was like, I've been creating YouTube videos consistently for about 2 months at this point. I feel like I've definitely gotten to the point where I can like surely help people like with the skill of YouTube, and I can help them like make money through their business, right? And so I was thinking, I'm like, I think I might want to pivot into doing like helping like spiritual entrepreneurs who already had coaching offers or wanted to monetize like their business skills to get high ticket clients. And that was an offer I created, but it was only live for like 3 days because it didn't actually feel aligned. It didn't actually feel completely authentic to me. That wasn't actually the avatar I wanted to serve. Because as much as I love business and I want to help people who are advanced so I can help them make a fuck ton of money, that's cool. I really, really, really love the prospect of getting people into business, because that is what took me a long time. Like the making your first dollar, making your first $1,000. Like I started trying to get into business back in December, and I made my first $1,000 on July 13th. That was 7 months. But I know that it was because I just didn't have the understanding. I didn't have the skills of YouTube. I didn't have the value to provide. I didn't have the mindset. I had so many limiting beliefs. I damaged relationships with my masculine and my feminine. And so I realized, I was like, yeah, this offer actually isn't right for me. And so I pivoted again. And I was like, okay, I got it. I want to help spiritual entrepreneurs or spiritual entrepreneurs who want to finally take action make $1,000 online as a coach, because that's what I did, through YouTube in 30 days. I got my first sale in 28 days. And I believe that you can get I believe you can make $1,000 in 30 days if you're selling something high ticket, right? And so like, I don't believe in like low ticket offers. If you want to like sell something like $20 to get like a psychological win of like, holy shit, I made money on the internet. Honestly, I respect that, because that shit is a mind fuck. It's a mind breaker. Trust me. Like if you go watch my video, my first $16.21 online, you can just see how like in awe I am in that video. The psychological win, it's big. But let me tell you this, guys. Like, you need to charge high prices because your clients will simply get better results. Why? Thing is, guys, like, if you're trying to be a coach, right? People are coming to you because they want to solve a problem. And the thing is, that's awesome, right? That's lit. And we can help them do that. We can help them solve this problem, but only if they're willing to do the work and actually like solve it. And so the thing is, like, we show how much we're willing to do something. We show how committed we are to something by investing, by committing resources, time, energy, money. And the more you commit to something, the more willing you are, the more invested you are. And so if you want to get your clients the best results, you need to charge higher prices, because they'll be more psychologically committed to getting the result. At the same exact time, you'll be more psychologically committed to getting the result because you're getting paid a lot of money. You think you'd work as hard for $100 than $1,000? You can cope and say, yeah, but you're lying. You know what I mean? And this is actually something I'm dealing with. Like I love my clients. Like my first two, Violet and Jeremy. I love all my clients. Like I love what they've done for me and where they propelled me. You know what I mean? But it's like, I know that if I had high ticket clients, they would be working harder and I'd be working harder for them. It's just that simple, because that's how it works. When more investment, when more commitment, when more resources are put into something, you're just more committed. That's how it works. And so if you're sitting here trying to change lives, if that's what you want, if you want to change lives, like that's the business you're trying to get into, that's the business I'm in. You need to charge high prices. They're like, oh, Jaden, no, I don't want to, because, what if they can't afford it? Oh my gosh. You know how much money is in someone's bank account? Do you know what someone else values? Do you know how much they're willing to spend to get that result? No. So shut this up and price yourself what you're fucking worth. Let me give you this mindset real quick, okay? So, an entrepreneur I've learned so much from in the past year. His name is Alex Hormozy, and he talks about how in business you need to always over deliver. Now that's just how you should be doing business in general. You need to always over deliver. But when it comes to like pricing, right? You want the value they actually receive from you to be like 10 times what the price they're paying, right? And so if this is the mindset, if this is the framework you're going in, then having something like having the price be a fraction of the value means that you always have wholehearted conviction in your offer and in your prices, because you know that what they're getting is a steal. You know what I'm saying? And so if you don't believe that your price is indicative of 10 times the value, lower that motherfucker. But at the same time, if you don't feel like that low of a price is good enough for you, then you need to make your offer more valuable, so it is 10 times the value. Okay, so that's how you like get more convicted in your pricing. Pricing itself is kind of hard to do. It depends on like your skills and your expertise. It depends on the problem you're solving. When you solve bigger problems, you can make bigger money. Like if I was trying to charge like entrepreneurs who wanted to like learn YouTube from me so they could get high ticket clients, like if you're trying to assign like 5 people for $10,000 and you're making 50 grand, then I'm gonna take 10% of that. I'm gonna charge you 5 grand. You know what I mean? Because I'm teaching you things that are gonna make you a fuck ton of money, and so I can take a slice of that. That's the mindset you want to have, right? The bigger the problems you solve, the more money you can charge. That's why teaching people how to make money makes money. Because learning how to make money is a very, very important skill. And if you can learn that, you can be very well off. Learning the skill, like having the meta skill of making money, your ability to like give value and receive, very, very important. Very, 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 very important. So, I believe it was around the 15th, 16th of July. So, almost a couple weeks at this point. It was actually when I was like, okay, I don't actually want to do like this high ticket thing. I want to do the $1,000 online offer, right? And so previously, before me and Aaron actually started working together, we were like chopping up about business all the time. So let me actually tell you this. Let me actually mention Aaron now. So Aaron found me a month ago from one of my videos called "Want to Be More Creative, Be More Spiritual." I believe it was June 22nd. And I think like the next day or something, she like commented on another one of my videos, and she was talking about how she wanted to make an ebook. So I was like, ooh, business, that's cool. Let's talk. Right? I'm in love with business. And so we were talking about that, and I was like asking her about like, like where was the resistance, like stuff like this, like what's your ebook about, stuff like that, right? And so she hit me up on Instagram so we could actually like chop it up. And so we were just talking about business and stuff for like 2 days, and then we also like she started sharing like more personal things with me, and I started doing the same. And we just started establishing like this friendship, and we started establishing this relationship on like this mutual love for business and spirituality, right? And maybe on like the fourth or fifth day of like us like being in contact, right? She had actually mentioned that she wanted to work with me, so I already knew that. But on like the fourth or fifth day, I was like, "Yo, Aaron, I know it's kind of early, but I think I have to propose." Foreshadowing a business opportunity, right? So I was like, I hit her up and I was like, "Yo, what if we like came together and made a free community together? Spiritual entrepreneurs. You want to tap in? That's the first in the description." Right? And the idea was like, hey, I have a more like male presence, realistic. I mean, I do. 70% of my audience is men. And she has a more female audience, right? So I was like, yo, we can come together. We're both all about infusing the love and spirit into the business, right? And so it's like the message is the same. We could like use it for lead nurture. We could leverage each other's audiences. I feel like this would be a good idea. And she was liking the idea at first, but we didn't really know each other. We hadn't even like had like a phone call at this point. It was literally all text. We'd like watch each other's videos and we were like Instagram DMing. You know what I mean? And so she said she had to sit on it, right? And this was actually the 29th of June. So this was the 29th of June. because she was BSing, and I was like, yeah, I want to make my own community. So I didn't make spiritual entrepreneurs, and I made small YouTuber monetization, like I told you guys. But I believe it was actually like 20. No, the brain work. It was like the 20th, somewhere between the like 18th and the 20th of June. I was like, yo, I'm not gonna lie, this small YouTuber monetization, this shit ain't for me. And I realized it was because it wasn't rooted in spirituality. I've been talking all about spirituality. I've been talking about God all video. If you're still here, you're probably a spiritual person. And so I realized that that didn't resonate with me because it wasn't authentic. Like, my spirituality is so important to me, and I view everything in life. My entire business is through the lens of spirituality. My philosophy is called purposeful productivity. Purpose is spiritual in essence. Your purpose is what God put you here to do. And so it's like, if you're not a spiritual person, why the fuck am I giving you value? Like, it's not like that, you know what I mean? But it's like, why are you in my community? Like, that's not my people. You know what I mean? And I was like, ah. And I was like, yeah, I'm about to just scrap this whole thing and make spiritual entrepreneurs, right? So I was just going to make it on my own. I was like, yo, Aaron, I'm giving you another chance. Do you want to do this shit or not? Right? And this time, since we actually knew each other and she was my client for 3 weeks at that time, and we'd actually been friends and stuff, she was like, yeah, Jaden, like, let's fucking do it, right? And so that was around last Wednesday or Thursday or something like that. I don't know. So Sunday rolls around, right? And we decided to do a podcast together. And Sunday night, I was reading The Way of the Superior Man. And a part of it was talking about how a woman is a man's muse, right? Like, women inspire creativity. And it was like, holy shit. Erin inspires me. She drives me to be better. She makes me want to expand. And I was like, oh damn, I like this girl. Like, I kid you not, guys. I was like so blind. Like, I've been like completely in this like mindset of women are a distraction, because most women are. But the thing is, guys, like, a woman can either be your greatest distraction or your greatest propeller. And I knew, I was like, okay, I've had the blinders on for months, but God put this woman in front of me and made me see her. I think I should stick with her. And so, like, on Sunday, when I first like had the realization, I'm like, damn, I like Erin. This is crazy. I was coping and I was trying to deny. I was like, do I really? And I was like, I don't want to mess things up. You know what I mean? But I was just like, shut up, Jaden. Just accept it. Because why deny? Why deny the truth of the heart? That's only going to cause more suffering. And so on Monday, I called up my best friend, who's, funnily enough, name is Kanye as well. And we were talking, and he had told me, he's like, yo, bro, Jay, if you feel like this is what you got to do, it's what you got to do, bro. It's like, take the risk, take it. And we'd actually, like, me and Aaron and we'd planned to hang out on Friday. And it was currently Monday at the time, right? And so I was like, all right, I'm gonna wait till Friday. If I get any signs on Friday in person, I'll make a move. You know what I mean? That was the vision. So on Tuesday morning, I recorded my video, how I made $1,200 in 58 days, right? And it was an hour long. And I'd showed her that, right? I'd like sent her the screenshot, and I was like, I'd circled it, 60 minutes of pure value, right? And her response was, 60 minutes of Jaden, that time is only supposed to be for me. I was like, oh fuck, we're in. I was like, oh shit. And I was like, okay, do I go for the risk now? I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to say, I gotta serve the people, mama. I wanted to just go for it, you know what I mean? I was just like, fuck it, man, we're ballers, right? But I didn't. I was being a pussy. And so instead of choosing like that one, which is we gotta serve the people, mama, which is still like a masculine, answer in terms of like serving the people, but it's also a loving answer, I decided to just go for the masculine answer of B, which is gotta serve the people. The mission comes first. Which is true. The mission always comes first. Because the thing is, Aaron was only attracted to me because of the mission. And so if the mission went, the attraction goes. That's how this shit works, guys, all right? You can never take your eye off of the mission. Never lose sight of what never lose sight. Okay, let me just say never lose sight of the mission. And so that was the first opportunity, right? But I played it safe. I was like, all right, nah, we're not gonna go for the risk. There's another one where she was talking about like her job. She got in a job recently, and she obviously hates it because jobs fucking suck. Why put your energy into something that you don't want to do? You can put your energy into something you do want to do. Purposeful productivity. And she was talking about like wanting to leave or something like that, and I was just like, bro, just leave. Like I got you. I wanted to say it so bad, but I didn't. Right? And after that second time, I was like, Jaden, you're being a bitch. I told my mans that I was going to take the risk. I told myself that I was going to take the risk. Thing is, Tuesday morning, right? I'd said, okay, if Aaron and I get extra synchronicities today, I'll know. Thing is, like, me and Aaron are like so in sync. It's fucking disgusting how much we're on the same wavelength. Like, we're like, it's gross. But we're like so tapped into each other's frequency, and we see like we get these synchronicities so often. And so I was like, if I get extra synchronicities today, I'm just gonna do it. And I was getting them. And the final straw was Aaron had so we actually had both there's a guy in spiritual entrepreneurs in our community. His name is Chiron, and he's very big into like astrology, numerology, and he does like chart readings and stuff like that. And so he did one for both of us, like individually. And Aaron's like she'd sent me like what her thing was for like love and like relationships, and it was like communication, business, trust, mutual like shared values, like things like that, right? I don't remember the exact list, but I'm just looking at this list and I'm like, this is literally me and Aaron right now. And so I'm like, fuck it. And so I hit the voice memo. I'm like, all right, Aaron, I think we need to get over ourselves and just admit we like each other. And we did. And then something fucking crazy happened. So we were talking like all that night, right? And going to bed Tuesday night, I'm like, oh wow, I'm gonna marry this girl. That's kind of crazy. And I swear to God, I changed her name in my phone to 11. We're both master number 11s, in numerology, with a ring, right? I was like, yeah, I'm gonna marry this girl. Cool. Wednesday morning, I wake up, right, and she had booked our session for our coaching, like our 1-to-1, and it said Aaron Camacho White, right? My name is Jaden Camacho White. So I'm like, oh wow, in both of our heads we're married. That's fucking insane. Yeah. So Aaron and I had we established that we were already married before we even had our first date on Friday. That's kind of crazy. But we had our first date on Friday and it was awesome. That's when we traded books. I gave her away to Superior Man and she gave me this. And yesterday we had actually on Friday we had watched we'd watched like there's a 3-part lecture series that Mina has in her membership, and Aaron's a part of the membership. And so we'd watched that first one on Friday together. And that's why I was like, yo, Mina's the GOAT. Give me her book. And then yesterday we'd watched the second and third ones. And we were just talking about like where we want to go and like traveling and like being together and stuff like that. And I was like, yo, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I gotta make way more money. Like I swear to God, like I don't know if you can see this, My December, I told you guys, my goal was 20K, and now it's 200. I woke up yesterday morning with a goal of 20K revenue. Midday, it was 100K. And at the end of the day, it was 200. Why? Because Erin inspires me to be better. She inspires me to go harder. I was like actually already so convicted that I could make 20K a month by December that I actually got comfortable. Like I didn't even feel the pressure anymore. And then I was thinking about 100K, right? Actually, this is funny. I was thinking about, okay, I need a higher goal. So let's do 100. But then I was like, ooh, maybe 100 is too big. You know, I didn't like. You want to have reasonably unrealistic goals. So it's like this is out of my stretch, but I know I can do this. You know what I mean? 20K was comfortable for me. 100 seemed reasonably unreasonable, so I was like, okay, let's do 50. And then I was like, nah, fuck that. 50? What? Let's do 100. And then I was like, yo, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like so wholeheartedly convicted in 100 that I don't even think that's big enough either. Just double up. I literally 10x'd my goal. All because of Aaron. Yeah. Yeah, she's my muse. I have gained almost 900 subscribers. I made $1,200 online, and I quite literally met the woman I'm going to marry. All because of YouTube. Pretty freaking nuts. Pretty freaking nuts. So Aaron and I are actually going to be doing a 4-part lecture series throughout the month of August. Every Monday, we're going to be doing like an hour call. And we're going to be doing a lecture in there. So if you want to join that, you can come watch that for free live. If you don't catch it live, though, we're going to be making it into a course, and you can buy that. It's going to be the Beginner's Guide to Spiritual Entrepreneurship. So if you want to join that up, come join my first link in the description. That's the Spiritual Entrepreneurs community. If you want to like contact me, that's the only way you can. School or actually working with me are the only ways you can contact me. I don't use Instagram. I don't use TikTok. I don't use Twitter. Only YouTube, only school. So if you want to get in touch with me, first link in the description, all right? If you're a spiritual entrepreneur or a spiritual entrepreneur, you want to make your first $1,000 online through coaching in 30 days using YouTube as your traffic source, I want to help you do that. I want to help you make your high ticket offer and sell it in 30 days. And if you don't get your first sale, if you don't make your first $1,000 online in 30 days, I'm just going to keep working with you for free until you do make that for until you do get that $1,000. That's something you're interested in. That's the second link description. That's my one-to-one coaching. And book a sales call with me, all right? YouTube is fucking everything. YouTube, in my opinion, is the ultimate vehicle for fun, fulfillment, for freedom. Business is the same. I love talking about YouTube. I love talking about business. I want to help as many people be on YouTube, be in business. If that's something you're interested in, I'd appreciate if you drop a sub, drop a like. Please share. Let's keep growing up our spiritual tribe, all right? Don't send this video to nobody that ain't spiritual. They ain't my people. My name is Jaden. I'm here building the community of spiritual creators and spiritual entrepreneurs. So, like I said, I'd appreciate if you drop a sub and drop a like. Do it today. Better for it tomorrow. I'll catch you on the next video. Dubs out.